So I called Mike and said, hey. You know, there's water running down Second Street. Apparently they've already taken it there. Couple of times. Yeah. Sweet, that's good.
Cold, cold. Oh no, how to dress today. Ron has computer and
So
technology envy.
you can't have technology envy and have a flip phone.
Yeah, actually you can, that's usually why. My friends would upgrade their phone, I'd be like.
Buy a home. Brand name.
Right.
For one.
It costs more than $200. I paid $300 for the computer. All right, 6 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. You can all please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Christina, you have a roll call?
Yep.
Excellent. We need to approve this evening's agenda.
I'll move we approve this evening's agenda.
Thank you. Second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All items on the consent agenda will be passed in one council motion unless there's something we need to remove for further discussion.
I came up with 5 questions.
You got 5 questions tonight?
D is in dog, E is in Edward, G is in girl, N is in Nancy, and O is in Oscar.
Okay. Anything else, Paul?
I had one question about. And
Say that again.
B.
B is in boy.
Then I will make a motion to accept tonight, the consent agenda minus the items B, D, E, G, N, and O. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Don. Item B.
I was just wondering if we heard any more about that Carl Avenue extension.
No, when we left here, my understanding is that we were done with it.
Did you call him or?
Well, I mean, I talked to him and told him that we wouldn't be moving forward, but
Okay.
I mean, that's what you guys wanted me to do, right? Yeah, that was my understanding when it was over with. Yeah, I called him and let him know that we wouldn't be, moving forward with any extension on our end.
Okay.
So he didn't really have much to say, he said he'd be up here sometime in the spring and maybe he'd come and talk to me then.
Okay,
That's all I got for that.
all right, thank you.
Yep, not a problem.
Ron, item B.
D, the fund balance report, it looks like there's something going on there. Christina, I know you highlighted some things in blue, but I couldn't connect the dots. It looks like
Same.
we're closing some account and opening others.
Yeah, let me elaborate. So the items at the bottom where it says fund transfer from and to and reason.
And we did this in the spring, so these funds are sunsetted debt accounts. And by statute, we are allowed to take any excess left over. Typically, it's the interest that's allowed to gain on the accounts, just in case. And move them into reserve accounts that subsequently represent the reason the debt was originated.
Oh.
So the top, first one, the 2009, that one, is for sewer replacement or sewer improvements when it was originally done in 2009. Same with the second one. So we moved that money into 205 from both the checking and the actual Deerwood Reserve account in 309.
Mhm.
There was funds in both of them. All of that money went into 205 in the reserve account, Ron.
Okay.
And then the 2017 disposal debt service, that was done. That was the sewer side of the 2016 Summit and Avenue repairs. So that moved to 205 as well in the reserve account. And then the bottom two are residual property taxes that came in 2024 after we had already relocated those funds last spring into their subsequent reserve accounts. So I highlighted where they were originally in the top section of the fund balance report.
Mhm.
And then on the reserve side, showed you where the money actually went.
Mhm. Okay.
And then the dollar amounts just kind of correspond. So what you're looking at on the top is after I've made those movements.
Okay. All right, yeah, I saw the highlighting there, I just didn't connect the dots.
It's I mean, I could have left it pre-done, but I had already moved the money, and to me, it was a little clearer for me to show you what the reserve accounts balance would be at this point in time after the movements were done.
Mhm. Right, the next question I had was on the bill report fee.
Right?
I see our friends. I notice our friends at Widseth have the name appear quite often now. I know the 3800 over the engineering report at City Hall, I'm assuming, but I just looking at them all, it's about 700,000 for 1 month. That we
Yeah, so,
spent on, and I just thought, that's not a normal month.
they billed us for the second half of what they did for GIS for the cemetery.
Okay,
They billed us for wherever they're at with the PER and the ER.
mhm.
And there was one more.
Yeah, environmental.
And the environmental service for the city hall.
City Hall, right?
Yes.
I recognize that number as 38.
Perfect. The PER and the ER got split evenly between water and wastewater.
Mhm. I can see.
And that was also stated in the income statement, so I don't know if that's your next question.
No,
Okay.
so G was the water fund, and I know this is through January, but is it possible that we went 1 month and we already have $445 in bad debt, uncollected checks, or was that carried over from something?
No, that's true.
Oh.
We have a customer who their ACH for their water account had insufficient funds in it. And that was the one bill.
Okay, now is that something that they initiate online or?
They have to come in, sign a waiver, provide us with their routing number and account number, and it's pulled on or around the first of every month.
Okay.
Instead of customers bringing in cash, check, or paying online.
Okay.
But it's hard to budget uncollected checks.
And that was just for one
That's one customer's account.
month, or they were
Yes,
1 month of usage for them?
no.
Oh, okay.
One customer, but a few months.
Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
And then do we just consider that lost, or do we?
No, my process is there is a letter sent. There's a NSS fee that's attached to the person's account. They are to make good on it, either with cash, a check, money, or not a check, money order to us so that it doesn't bounce again. Okay, you guys gotta slow down. Can't keep up that quick, I'm sorry. And take notes at the same time, not fair. And business credit cards.
Yeah, just a curiosity question, it looks like we had about $2,000 worth of postage.
Yep, we started this year's purchase.
That's buying in advance, is it?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
that wasn't all stuff mailed in jail.
No,
We didn't send a lot of bills.
that's
Collect
correct.
Those checks.
You might recall that you did ask me this question around the same time. We're just we try to do as much of our supply orders at the beginning of the year, so it's a lot easier when we start getting busy, beginning of second quarter.
Do you purchase these from the post office or online?
A little bit of both.
Oh,
We've started moving towards buying them online just because, it gets mailed to our local post office and put in our PO box then.
mhm.
Cause there's been times where we've needed 4 rolls of forever stamps and they didn't have them in office.
Mm.
Or postcard stamps for our utility cards, so we started buying it online. There's no shipping fee on it. It just is a lot easier. I think it helps both parties out.
So the last question I had was on O. And
Yeah.
It looks like it's something new. I've never seen that.
It is
before.
new. It's gonna be related to what I have earmarked for approval under my report. There is a requirement that the city designate the person that is responsible for approving EFTs through or wire transfers for the city each year. It should have been, there has to be a designation and there has to be a policy supporting it. And in that policy, there is also a requirement that I must provide to the council the previous month's EFTs for review in the consent agenda. So what you're looking at is the EFTs that we paid on our payrolls for January.
Mhm.
So we pay through an EFT to the IRS, our FICA and our federal withholding, our state withholding to the Department of Revenue, our para withholding to para, and Lincoln Life, which is our full-time employees, life insurance, Delta Dental, which is our full-time employees, dental insurance, and to Northwest Service Co-op. That is our Medica payments for our health insurance for our full-time employees. So that's what makes up these reports.
Yeah, I noticed you referenced the statute there.
I tried to, I knew that there would be a question,
Mhm.
once we get through to my report, if you pre-read the policy and the designation, it all kind of balances.
But so basically, this is something new that's going to appear every month
It will,
in the consent agenda.
Yes.
So we can expect that.
Correct.
It is. Okay.
and what I provided to you as the attachment is the most simplistic way I could create it out of our accounting system.
Mhm.
I was hoping to do it in one page, but it's the easy way I can do it.
Would you care to make a motion to approve those items?
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the withdrawn items from the consent agenda, B, D, E, G, M, and O.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We got through the consent agenda. ready for the Blackduck Forum? I see none, so we will move on. Mike,
I don't really have a whole lot to report. We had some more issues with, the main lift station. I have a freak deal. We're not sure if it was the ground shifted or what, but our pumps shifted off of where they should have been. So we had kind of a mad dash for a couple days to get that corrected and figured out. We were able to do that with, the help of the Minnesota Pump and Bob Zicano and, I love when I have,
name on
Words
the
here.
tongue.
Domeyer. We had, a truck from them and we spent quite a bit of time out there trying to pump that down. Of course, it was peak flow, so that was the reason for the two trucks. We were kind of leapfrogging each other, trying to get it down, and we were able to get those set back in, so that's all up and working again properly now, so that's good. We've been working with Duncan from Widseth and Chris Parthen from Department of Health on wellhead protection plans and redoing those since those are up. Obviously, we've had a couple of snow events. And we've had a couple of private water issues go on in the last couple of weeks here. Can't really tell how much water we lost. I mean, I can gauge it a little bit from my daily pumping out of the main plant there. And I would say we're probably in the neighborhood of roughly around 100,000. Give or take, more than likely give a little more than that we've lost unaccounted water. $200,000 or so, probably roughly, I would assume, without doing the math. That's about it, really. Anything for me from anybody?
Like when you say pumps shifted off from where they should have been, can you elaborate on that? So I understand what I'm doing minutes.
Try. If you don't work with it, it's kind of hard. So the pumps essentially seat at the bottom to the elbows that we recently replaced that we had all those problems with. So the elbows down there sits on the concrete, and then what you have is a couple of stainless steel rails for each pump. That's part of how we're able to bring them up and down when they do get clogged and everything like that. Well, those rails that are on there have a certain amount that they're able to move, right? The ground unfortunately moves in this area, so that's how they're set up. What happened is one of them moved, and in doing so, the pump, you know, those pumps, when they hit and go, there's a bit of force there, so they got movement to them. So the pump kicked on, tilted over, and when it tilted over, then it took the other pump out because they sit pretty close to each other. So we had a situation where basically of the two pumps, we had one pump that was somewhat pumping. It was basically just enough to keep us from overflowing that lift station, and that was it. You know, it was going around the clock trying to keep up. So in able to fix all of this, you have to get that lift station pumped pretty much completely down so that you can see what you're doing. Got to go in, reset everything, and then we also had some additional bracing put in to hopefully prevent this in the future from ever happening again. So that's, if you follow kind of all of
do.
that.
That makes a little bit more sense.
So it was a little time consuming, but we got it.
How much salt is the county putting down over here?
It all depends. It all depends.
I drove through and I went, these roads are white.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got really white after this last time, and I think that had to do more so with that last little skiff there that was, you know, a little over a quarter inch or so.
Sure.
Sometimes when you get those, it's easier just to knock them down with salt. You know, the county being able to run the straight salt the way they do, they just kind of let the salt take care of it. And that's what it does. Anything else?
No.
Perfect.
Well done.
What would you like to start with? The freezer
or the cameras?
Let's just go right with the cameras.
Okay. So we have 3 different quotes here. And there's 3 different levels of equipment.
I think I only give them 2.
Oh, did you?
You do have 3? Then I only put 2 in my pocket. Never mind.
There's 3 pages.
Thank you. Sorry, my back.
This is,
Please keep going.
this one I think we took out because it was.
Yeah, That's why I don't have it in mind,
Well, when
but I
you-
gave it to them.
So
Yep.
the 2,700 because it was not
Okay,
complete. Of course. I mean, that's the one that I wish we.
I got you. I'm following along.
So we have the 6706, which is an analog. Monitoring system. And then we have the 10,805.45 that is. How would you, digital web,
It'll be more digital.
digital web-based, there's a, 360-degree fisheye camera. Which Christina explained to me what it was and, where it would go. Because she thought that would be a good idea, which is in our off sale. That you can see. You can see it. The customers that are back by the beer cooler by the,
Yes.
yes,
North door and the north
and
extension
right,
addition, because right now the existing one only gave us like. Not quite a 180 to the south.
yep. And then obviously over the terminal. There's one over the terminal too, and also.
And the reason for the 2 different amounts besides the analog versus the digital is in order to get that fisheye option and the digital, you need a bigger hard drive storage.
Right.
Than what the analog would only need. My recommendation to Shonda was to push more to the digital because the other system was from 2010, 11, and already analog.
Yeah,
Anytime you say that there's an analog option, I'm already going, why?
well, because
I don't see,
minimum requirement,
Mhm.
a minimum requirement, that's what that is, minimally, that's what we need.
okay, because
But-
that one, I'm already, in my opinion, I'm not for it.
Well, that's why we brought it up here, is Christina and I not
Okay.
good.
I'm
What-
just stating where I stand on that one right away.
Okay, the number of cameras would be the same. We're adding one to the back so that the employee entrance is back up and
Covered.
running. Because it was prior to the remodel.
Right.
But that stopped working,
Yeah, just that one.
that one by the
Well,
back.
I'm just thinking back to my retail days, and I know there was always one on. There's always a camera on the money. Didn't matter where the money was, there's a camera on it.
Right,
It's not necessarily, yeah, it's not a trust issue. Not that, saying I don't trust you, but. It's, there's always a camera on the money and you're not always going to be there.
right. Right.
I won't always be mayor.
So anyway, those are the 2 that I have, and I guess we're just looking for a recommendation and a approval.
These quotes say no electrical work is included. Do you anticipate any electrical work or?
Oh,
You shouldn't need electricals because they're all low voltage.
But there's electrical outlet where you're gonna put the server. right?
Yes,
Yes,
So,
yes. The
and all
cameras,
wiring of the cameras is included in the proposal.
right,
yes.
This
Yeah.
also comes down to a matter of. Not only employee safety, but customer safety as well. Make sure everybody's thinking about that when you're looking at the big picture, it's not. All on. What's it say? It's people.
when, we had the golf course upgraded.
Hmm.
Did we have to have a extra electrical done out there for the?
No, because the, first of all, the biggest difference between the two entities, and we're talking two different things.
Yeah.
We're talking video surveillance versus securing the perimeter of the building.
Yes,
There already is perimeter security on the liquor store.
Alarms and.
There is no video surveillance in the golf course. We're talking video surveillance tonight.
So, okay, I'm just talking inside, when you put when you had that system put in out there, I mean,
The system that's at the golf
Yeah.
course secures the building. It does not have video surveillance.
okay.
I think I'm with Max on this, on both of the digital.
yeah, and. Are these? Have you seen these cameras? Have you seen stuff that they've shot? You know,
No, but you're looking at
I'm
a
just,
5 megapixel camera versus a 4 megapixel camera, and what is down there right now is probably,
too,
I don't even know if it hit 2 when they put it in.
so. I mean, there might be a chance that, you know, if the photo is there, you're gonna recognize the person, it's not a blob.
It will be cleaner. It was clean before. It's important to understand that because of the positioning where they're located, you may never get exactly
I understand how the
a
lighting.
screenshot of,
The
yeah,
lighting, how all that
Right.
affects it, I'm just. You know, I don't know how, come on, we've all looked online and seen, have you seen this person of interest?
Mhm.
And gone. Probably,
If, no matter which one we went with, it would be a dramatic increase from what
Yes.
we had in
What we have now.
and what we have now.
the possibility for upgrading in the future. I'm imagining the digital would be
There'd be more potential for.
far more
Yep,
friendly.
You know, it's cloud in, is it all on that server?
it's on that server, and there's a,
Storage limit for-
yeah. And there's a number of days that it will rotate, just like, the system that we existingly have does. It's like a 21-day rotation. It's not forever. Most video cameras don't go forever. Even your home stuff that you get from like Ring and
And they'll come up and do the training and all of the. How to push what button to see what. and-
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have them. Install
the software onto the workstations.
on the workstation.
Yeah. And I'll get it up here as the backup again.
Right, and I mean, what. Thing that I would do is I would also see if you can get it loaded on our off sale, so our off sale clerks can. Go in.
While they're there, they can watch on camera.
Yes. Yes, if they have somebody that's suspecting when they come in.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple blind spots. In there we discovered. Some shrinkage of. And. You know. We, in those blind spots, we have the least expensive items. There, the least,
Gotcha.
you know, the least wanted. Items. In the blind spots, but it would be really nice to
Have those covered.
have those covered too, yeah.
So in this plan, the existing cameras that are there, what
We
happens to them? We leave them, do we remove? them?
Replace them, we
Right,
replace
so
them,
they would be removed,
remove, yes.
and by these folks, or would we?
I'm not sure how that
Yes.
would work, if they would do that, yeah,
They
definitely, we
they
want,
controlled it original, the first ones too.
right, and I think, you know, hopefully working with them, so there'll be. not, great big holes in the ceiling where the old ones are. I mean, it's my hope that we can figure out.
Well, would the new ones be, some new one would be where each old one was?
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
they would
think we're
remove
only
this.
adding one camera to the set that we have now, which is that 3D in the off sale.
So I just wanna make sure we're not looking at another expense to work things out.
No,
Right,
if,
another
I,
party.
I will take them out if that's the
Yeah.
case.
I think we put a couple of them in.
Yeah,
ourselves.
Christina and I moved them around when we had the, remodel, and
Yeah.
tried, because we had two cameras, but our cameras that are in the off sale now, the two were plenty for the size of the off sale, which was like
Originally,
this
yeah,
building, this area here.
it's nice that we have that drop ceiling, gives us a lot of flexibility.
And Arvig is someone that we've worked with before, good results, everybody's happy. with Their
Exactly,
service.
yes, and they already do our monitoring for the perimeter of the buildings anyway, so, it's a likely vendor to work with.
Well, I said we go ahead with. It's not only a matter, yeah, it's also, it's a matter of safety.
Yeah.
We approved the IP video monitoring system at the amount of $10,805.45 for the bond.
We'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Then all those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Perfect. Next up, Shonda, you gave us all some,
Yes. Well, I actually had Mel do some shopping. I also had Melissa check out. We previously got a really good deal on an upright freezer from Norfolk.
You have an extra one? No.
You don't have one here?
We can like,
Okay. Yeah. Previously, one of the other ones we got previously, we got it from True Value, but Melissa drugged Max up there and it's like $900. So, I mean, and that
it was
was,
snowing and crappy that day.
you didn't feel good.
You-
So-
You previously bought one, you said?
I previously bought one, right away when we did the remodel. You know what I mean? Because we knew that like the freezer that we had previously was not gonna hold all the items that we needed for our menu. We've expanded, obviously, our menu, and food has really taken off. I mean, really is now, like, I showed you guys, end of the month, it was, started out as 40% of our business, and now it's, 45, and now it's 56% of the sales in the on sale. So having more area, having places to put freezers. So we got to a point where we had no more room, and Mike offered to lend us his freezer for a little while, and that was in 2021. So
2021, it's good.
I mean,
You forget how long something is, how long ago something happened. And I forgot that it's been that long.
oh, Public Works did the same thing with the compressor and a couple other things that were on one from a friend. Welder, yeah,
I see.
at some point, somebody wants their stuff back. So,
It's like being a bad neighbor.
you're kind of being a bad neighbor of the freezer. So anyway, we've pursued a lot of places and found that Menards is having, the mail-in rebate. And
So the one you're thinking is the one on the front page.
Right, 17.0 cubic feet. But I kind of wanna, it's hard to see, but you can see it online, but I like to look at it. So I would like to have the option to be, if I look at that 17, cubic, I'm like, well, for this much more, I can get,
You could get 19.
yeah, and this other one is what, 21,
Yep,
and it's $100 more, basically.
you're gonna go down and pick it up then.
Yeah, I would go down and pick it up.
Did when we stocked the break room.
Yeah, the little breaking refrigerator. So, and both of these have 3 left in stock in Bemidji,
The overall footprint between the 21 and the 17 in terms of space, will you exceed the space that Mike's is already?
no,
Okay.
no,
Actually, yeah, you probably gain floor space. Since
Cause
it's
you're going to an
upright.
upright versus a
Yeah,
chest.
yeah, and yeah, I figured it out was, let's see. 28 inches. Yeah, I mean, wide,
Or
so,
though, will that get in the way of? You're gonna put it in the same place Mike's is?
perhaps, or maybe we will do some reconfiguring in there too, I mean, we don't have a problem
Sure,
with
sure.
doing, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Do you want like $1,000 okay?
yeah, it's not,
So
so
you
that
have
we
some
could go
wiggle
down,
room?
we could go down and get this second one. Cause I mean, they're gonna charge you $748 plus tax,
Mhm.
then you get a rebate back of $50.
Yeah.
So I mean, 800, I would think that sales tax would cover that. But it may be, this one will do,
You pay sales tax, city pay sales tax.
Her department does, yes, the only one. No, golf does too.
Huh?
Golf does too.
oh, okay, I thought. Yeah, okay,
Because it's for the public.
It's an
Enterprise
enterprise fund.
That's fine.
Nature of the business.
right,
Yeah.
a long time ago, somebody abused that and then.
Gotta have one,
But we're,
you know.
I don't know what Mike's keeping his venison in.
My garage freezers are getting pretty full. We got no.
Quit poaching deer.
Huh?
I said, quit poaching deer.
So do you want that one? Not to exceed 1,000 or what?
I think you should give her the liberty to do that, then, I mean, if you use your business credit card, go down there and pick it up. I think that would be the easiest.
Yeah, I hope not to.
We have a budget for this somewhere, right?
We put money into furniture and fixtures of your department all the time, just in case, cause it's not uncommon that a freezer or something goes down. Right. They just don't seem to last, period.
You need one of those 1970s avocado green. Those things never die.
Freon lasts
Yeah.
forever. The ones you can't get locked, you don't wanna get locked
Those are
in,
no electronic. Oh, it's all mechanical.
pretty much.
So,
Move to approve the purchase of a freezer for the pond. $1,000 range.
Okay.
any second? Any further discussion, questions? You know, it's cold enough outside
We
right
could just
now,
use- Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, there was a
Maybe
discussion
$1,000.
about,
Leaving it outside?
no, no, one of the food trucks wanted to drop it off at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're like, I'm not gonna be there at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
and we're not letting it stand outside.
No.
All right then, no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes, Mike. Got your freezer back.
I forgot about it.
Can I, and, thank you for letting us use it.
Rent free.
No problem.
Hey, where else can you get one? Thank you, Shonda. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, not really. The Super Bowl wasn't great. Wasn't great for sales. That's all I really got to say about that.
Bingo the 23rd.
Bingo the 23rd.
Okay,
The off-sale lady employee on Wednesdays does an excellent job.
Thank you.
Professional, counts the money out, gives your change back, realizes it
Is that Carla?
really polished.
She's a peach.
I don't know about
Yes.
your other days employees, because I only go on Wednesdays.
Well, that's very frugal and smart of you.
Yes, you better believe it,
yeah, that's,
10%.
Oh, goodness, that's cute.
it's good to know where you are on Wednesday.
Levers?
There, and that's the reason we did that.
You're energetic, you can have one parking place for both businesses.
Yes, that's
I'm
correct.
surprised you joined.
Get a little exercise.
Yeah, so, no,
If there's nothing else, then, for Shonda, anything? Thank you.
thank you guys.
Library, I don't imagine we have anything.
I have two things.
Of course you do.
One is related to, the designation of appointments, under me. So I sent feedback to Melissa Wheatley and Kelly Hanks after our work session regarding Lori Hamilton's position and representation on the library board, and Melissa Wheatley, after consulting with a board member, emailed me and said that by their bylaws, they have to have someone designated for Kitschy. They can't just have whomever is available chime in from the city. So I know that under the resolution, I just have it as available to a board member. Kitschy needs somebody as an alternate designated. So you guys gotta duke that out. So that I can let Melissa know, and then I'll update it on the resolution. And the second thing is then she provided an actual hard copy of when the meetings were for 25. So and this is probably a good idea to move forward with anyway, is that we would always have an alternate designated under our appointments. If for some reason the original elected official could not attend.
Well, as it so happens, Thursdays are now kind of taken up for me with the HRDC. I'm
Doing that too.
yes, I had a meeting with the director, and I will be sitting on that board.
So per our conversation at the work session, we're looking for the alternate to for sure fill the March and the May meeting. Possibly June. We'll just see at that 90-day point where Lori is at. And it can't be me. I'm sorry. It has to be
Everybody
elected
jump at
official.
once.
I had to go at it before Lori, and Thursday nights are busy for me. Or else I would, because it was a good experience.
And Kitschy, you can do it by Zoom. So you don't have to go down to Pine River.
Think you can have a couple Zoom meetings, Ron?
What's Zoom?
They'll email you a link and you just press that link.
Thank you, Don.
I would consider it, but I'm already doing the ambulance, one outside board thing. I wouldn't want to recalibrate my brain to two outside things.
I can go to next time.
That's why Thursday's no good.
Thursday, I love it.
Now I get it. All right, so that takes care of that.
So that is a good segue. So the resolution 2501, this is our first revision. We mixed up some stuff to accommodate.
Yes.
We have Nick Sites designated now as vice mayor. I will make the change to page 4, adding alternate Hitchy liaison, or representative, excuse me. So that's there. Obviously the library board, the local board. It could be any of you guys, like we've discussed, but Hitchy requires an alternate. So I can update page 4. And those are the only changes we have on this resolution.
When does the regular library be?
So Kelly told me that they don't have a meeting now until March or April. But I will confirm that and tell you for certain
Okay.
after tonight types out.
I'll move to approve resolution 2025-01. Resolution of annual appointments.
Wait a second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed? Congratulations, Nick.
That's done.
Thank you, Don.
I'll make it work.
One way or another, we're gonna make it work.
What we gotta do.
Next item I need approval on is the annual assessment agreement between the city and Beltrami County for assessing services for 2025.
Any motion on that?
Motion to approve the assessment agreement between the city of Blackduck and Beltrami County for the assessing services for 2025.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C is resolution 2506, an annual resolution authorizing para contributions for qualifying part-time police officers. This year's format's a little different. Para needed the actual officers' names designated in the resolution. In the past, I had just kind of blanket.
Is there a reason why? Just change statute or?
Last year, when we did the blanket, they requested it be that I write the part-time officers' names on the resolution when I send it to them. This year, when I went through the format on their website, it specifically says to name them.
Okay.
I move we approve resolution 2025-06, authorizing fair contributions for part-time police officers.
Need a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Carries.
As I stated during the consent agenda, item D is a new policy authorizing EFTs or electronic fund transfer payments for the city of Blackduck. By statute, this needs to be approved. And then subsequently, E will be the resolution designating the city administrator as the eligible authority. It's something we've already been doing. We just need to say that we can.
Okay,
I said I was gonna learn a couple of things with a new auditor. I don't know how we got by without doing this before, but we're doing it now.
I guess it's something I never thought of, to be perfectly honest with you, that we would need to authorize someone to make
Yep.
payments. I thought that was kind of part of the job,
Job description. Yep,
so.
Yep.
All right,
I mean, I'm telling you guys I'm doing it. We're doing it.
obviously, we're paying people.
We're paying people. We're paying our taxes. I don't know, our payroll taxes, but yes. This outlines, the authorization.
I'll move to approve the Blackduck electric bonds transfer payment policy.
Second that. Motion in a second. Any discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
And then in support of that policy approval, I would like authorization to, resolution 2507, authorizing EFT transfers for the city of Blackduck and designating the city administrator as the eligible authority.
Okay, so I got a question on it.
Okay,
Christina walks out the door and gets hit by a logging truck, then what?
Clean it up.
Who has authority after that?
You have to
designate
The
someone.
vice city administrator.
You would have to designate
It
someone.
would have to be,
It's what both of you.
So this is something that you have to do every year?
The designation has to be done just like when we do appointments. So scenario is, let's say I'm out of work on a leave of absence for 6 weeks for surgery, much like I did last year. Okay, so the deputy clerk works under the administrator's department. I, as a designated authority, can provide and appoint the authorization. I still have to oversee it. So everything that gets done in my department, there's gotta be a check and a balance. This is one of those checks and balances.
and that's kind of where I was going.
Right, it's just the check goes higher above me by doing this. So
Right.
that the elected officials are aware that this is the body that has the authorization to do so. If I may also note that on page 2 of the policy, I specified all of the types of EFTs the city has done.
Yep.
So that I can spell it out, but I mean, there are some cities that have that line that says on the occasion there may be another one. But I listed everything that the city already does on a monthly deal. So it's already consistent.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve this, please?
Move to approve resolution 2025-07, authorizing EFTs for city of Blackduck and designating city administrator as the eligible authority.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
F is our annual League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust Liability Coverage Waiver Declaration for monetary limits on municipal tort liability. for 2025. Historically, the city waives the monetary limits, which is the second option on this form.
Motion to approve it.
Motion to approve the county's EIT liability coverage waiver.
Motion for a second.
When we enact this, we will have one of those we can check.
Yep, the second option, and Nick should actually state that in his motion that
You're waiving.
we are waiving the monetary limits.
We are waiting. Then we're waiting on.
I'll second that.
Thank you for that clarification, Ron.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing on, motion carries.
G through L are dates to take note. February 19th is the next planning commission meeting. February 17th. Offices, City Hall and the DMV will be closed in observance of President's Day. February 20th at 6 p.m. is the fire protection annual meeting here at City Hall. February 24th is the scheduled work session for our city council. March 10th is the next city council regular meeting. And April 25th has been designated as the local board of appeal meeting with the county assessor's office here at 1 p.m. Any questions on the meetings?
Is that the Board of Appeal, is that earlier this year?
Nope. No, it's usually in April.
Is it April?
Mhm.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's like a week later. A lot of the times it's on like the 10th of
Okay.
that month. It's been in April historically.
Have you had any feedback from townships
Regarding,
regarding the new truck? For the fire department?
you mean the one that was just approved?
Correct.
No, because it hasn't been discussed yet. It will be discussed at this meeting.
I was just wondering if anybody.
Mhm. No,
I would continue to be upset.
I'm gonna let the firing squad go in a different direction that night.
I'm gonna tell.
Our department was really busy in January. Paige and I got all our year-end compliance done. I've been working with the new auditors. Trying to understand their language versus my language and getting their list of 80 items to them. I've got a few left to go here before the end of the week, so that's been pretty busy.
Has it been
We're working really well
a
together.
smooth?
Yeah,
fairly
we are
smooth
working
transition?
well together. I've had a couple of situations where I didn't really understand their lingo. They're like this designation with the EFTs. There's been some question in my mind about why our previous auditors didn't do this. But, you know, I knew that this was gonna be a learning curve. And then there's been a couple other things that the new auditors have requested our audit. My department actually do, when I do the bank recon, pretty much the end of the road when it comes to balancing our funds. And they want a second pair of eyes just to look at it every month and say, is this reasonable? So I'm gonna be working with Paige because she's the only other one in the city that knows how all the money comes in and all the money goes out. So I have that extra oversight that the auditors are requesting on that level. A little bit of a growing pain for me to let that stuff go, but I'm okay with having somebody else know it. Like you said, if somebody got hit by a bus, somebody else is gonna have to know. And if I go back to when I started in 2014, it took me 4 months to really learn the bank recon and how the money comes in and out, because we're a cash-based city instead of a GASB reporting city, so there's a lot, I mean, down to the penny. We really gotta understand where all the money is coming in from and how it translates from, you know, the liquor stores, the utilities, the golf course, the cemetery, and how it all relates to one big checkbook. So, I have a countdown on my retirement, so I'm looking on that door going, okay, I need to make sure that the next person can come in with, you know, some standard operating procedures that they can walk into this role, and hopefully it's more of a seamless transition for the city than what I want it to. You know, I mean, we all want that in all of our. The other thing my department has been working on is I've been still working with Blackduck Co-op and the state rail bank. There's some disagreement as to what the co-op has been provided to access the new property that they purchased that we helped convey. In the very early stages of the whole process, one of the representatives from the state's rail bank authority, they clearly stated on one of our teams meeting that that section of rail bank would be an extension of Cedar Avenue. It was in the early maps that worked with the department that the state needs to, you know, locate where all the property lines are. But when it came down to the quitclaim deed and the purchase order and everything, there was no easement given to the city or to the co-op. And that kind of provided some issues for the co-op, because early on, they had an engineer and a construction company that was like, so you want us to build something we have no access to legally. Well, that got finalized and fixed by finding another company. And now they're underwriters, we're working with them, and, you know, you got a lot of legalese where they want stuff on paper. Well, the sad thing is that the state won't provide easement to anything, to anyone of property that is theirs. What I'm fighting right now is the fact that they sold or conveyed property on either side of the rail bank to the co-op. The west side, they already were using and leasing for the existing, you know, property that was there. And the extension of Cedar is the very north piece of that property. But it never came to the city, so I'm fighting the state right now, trying to figure out if they're gonna give us some documentation that says that is an extension of Cedar. Right now, it goes to the parking lot of the co-op and ends. And I'm concerned that that might be a problem. My conversations with Rachel today were good. It looks like they're gonna be moving forward next month with no problem, but I'm still gonna continue to push the state to give us something documented that says that is Cedar Avenue. I mean, it's 100 feet by 60 feet. It's not much, and it isn't on the rail bank. What they had to retain. I did find a better person to work with in the last month. So he is trying and he understands the conflict that this has created. But the person that originally started the whole process when we started with the conveyance no longer works in that division anymore at the
Shocking.
state. So we can't go back to them. So he's kind of stuck with holding the ball and trying to figure out in his division what he can do for the city. Everybody recognizes this is at a city street. This is the silly thing, is the state says to the city verbally, we see that, we view that as Cedar Avenue. I'm like, great, write it down. Well, we can't do that. That's what I'm fighting right now. I'm glad you see it that way, because we see it that way too. Just put it in paper.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No. I don't have any questions
Statements?
that I want to put on the record.
Okay. Page 4.
Anything else? Not you, Mike.
Nope, I'm good this time.
Chamber bingo. 24, 1 o'clock. I'll be taking over the small cities representative for the HRDC.
Thank you.
We have anyone?
Who's the former?
Oh. Well, I didn't know it.
I took it on and then I got my night job. Like a month.
Oh,
There's been a gap for a couple of years.
Yes.
Since our- Yeah,
Go on 3 years. And then
and
it's a lot of appointments for a small city.
it is. Comes with the territory. But there's nothing else. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Map is like.